Hello, welcome back. We're going to continue to talk about describing actions that occurred in the past at some specific times. So as I told you before, we are going to use our logic to order some actions in the sequence, in the most logical sequence that they may have occurred. So here's the instructions for you. It says, order the following sentences in the most logical chronological order. Means what happens first, what could have happened afterwards, and finally at the end. Look at the time expressions and verb tenses in the sentences to help yourself. So I am going to ask you to pause your video and examine these sentences, make sure that you understand them all, and then try to arrange them into a paragraph that describes what happened in the most logical order that you can come up with. All right? So pause your video for a moment, and when you're ready, you continue. All right, I hope that you did it and that you have your answers. So here is the whole paragraph. I'm going to show you sentence by sentence to make sure that we understand what they mean. But as I show you the sentences, that is the sequence in which this girl originally wrote this description. All right, are you ready? Let's start. It starts with, last night I went to the movies with Felipe. All right, that is the whole idea of the whole story. The movie's starting time was 7:30 p.m. So giving some context to what happened. I had a dentist appointment at 6 p.m. that I could not reschedule. So more description of the context, but remember the first sentence was that we went to the movies, then the next context clue was the movie starting time was at such time, and now we're going to talk about the time. So she could not reschedule a dentist appointment. So I had a dentist appointment at 6 p.m. that I could not reschedule, so I knew I could be a little late. All right, good. Next. By the time I arrived at the theater, Felipe had already bought the tickets. So when she arrived, he had already bought the tickets. So that is an action that occurred before that time in the past. Remember that she's talking about something that happened last night. By the time she arrived at the movie theater, her friend had already bought the tickets. So what's next? So we entered the theater and started watching the movie. All right, that's the most logical thing to happen. And we have the last sentence to include, we had a great time. All right, great. I'm going to pause my video while you listen to the pronunciation of this passage, and remember that you can practice your pronunciation as well. All right?
Last night I went to the movies with Felipe. The movie starting time was 7:30 p.m. I had a dentist appointment at 6 p.m. that I could not reschedule, so I knew I could be a little late. By the time I arrived at the theater, Felipe had already bought the tickets, so we entered the theater and started watching the movie. We had a great time.
All right, great. So I hope that you did practice your pronunciation and that you are ready for the next activity. You know what? We're going to talk about birthdays in the next activity. Are you ready? I'll see you there.